Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of Dream Setlist that we wind down the month of March. We've only got a couple days to go, and I've saved one of the best ones for almost last, right? We've been talking about it all month. Butch Jones in the co-captain's chair for a Dream Setlist from the both of us for Thin Lizzy. What is happening, man? How are you? Happy Saturday.
Yeah, happy Saturday. And it's too well, it's not necessarily too early, but I'm not bourboning, so I'll have to make up to everybody later.
I'm iced teaing here as
Yeah,
I always
I'm,
seem
I'm,
to
I'm
be.
watering.
So yeah, so we've arrived at Thin Lizzy Day here,
Yes.
obviously, and I just realized I have like a ladder in the background. Okay, there we go. We'll eliminate that, of course, because yeah, when you see the ladder in the background, that means I was up top pulling comic books down for the Comic Book Geezers channel, right? So obviously that's what happened earlier this morning. Anyway, back to Thin Lizzy. So I've asked Butch to, of course, just like we've done all month, put together a dream set list of Thin Lizzy. Could be any lineup, any era, any songs, any venue, fictional or not, truthful or not, doesn't really matter. You want to bring people back from the dead, do that as well. So it's just it's sky's the limit. Use that time machine, whatever. So I'm gonna let Butch kick us off with his detailing his concert first.
I'm gonna start by just showing some my fellow Lizzie fans out there a couple of things that I have that actually don't really have anything to do with my list other than that I have them to show you. But I got a couple of programs from '80, which is honestly actually before Chinatown was out. When you look inside, there's a picture saying a picture of all the albums at the time, and at the bottom here it says coming shortly. So Chinatown wasn't even out yet, but so they must have done a little bit of a tour because Snowy White is in it. So I tracked this down years ago, and then I actually have the Renegade program as well, which is cool. So just a couple little Lizzy things that mean a lot to me.
How long have you had those?
Huh?
How long have you had those?
Oof, I found these at the old, remember the old record conventions that they used to have at the Mid-Hudson Civic Center for
Oh
kids
yeah,
years
yeah.
ago?
Yep.
So 25, 30 years ago.
Okay,
I've had them
gotcha.
for a long time now.
I like that picture of Snowy. He almost looks like Rick Emmett in that picture.
Yeah, and you know what? And honestly, it kind of sums up Snowy's time. Is like, yeah, I made the wrong decision to be in this band. Okay, let me just take this picture here.
Yeah.
But good stuff nonetheless.
Yep.
But my Lizzy, and everyone that's out there know what you're thinking, who you're thinking is going to be involved in this is not involved in this. I kept it to me, the real era, the real classic Lizzy. So I'm going 1977. So Bad Reputation tour. If I could pick a place, it would probably be like at Hammerstein in England, 77, but I'll make it New York, so I don't got to travel so far. So at the Palladium in New York City, 1977. And this is a kick-ass list. I wish I could have seen this for damn sure. It's a long one, but it's a good one, I think. I think this is a good one. So I'm going to start to show off with what I think is one of the, besides later on in that era that I'm not talking about. I think this is the greatest Lizzy opening song that I don't think that they ever used as an opening song. I don't even know if they even actually played it live, which is because I've never heard it live. The song Johnny from Johnny the Fox. I remember the first time hearing that song and just like, ooh, the production of it, it just sounds so mean and nasty and just, ooh. So I'm starting with Johnny. My number two is going from Johnny and the Jailbreak. Personally, I don't need to hear the song ever again, but it's 1977, so it's still relatively new. So it's and it's a song that by that time, the year before 76, it came out, so people knew it. So I'm sure we get a good roar from people. Then going into the first song for the album that they're touring behind for Bad Reputation, I'm giving you Bad Reputation. Great, another great riff, great vibe to that song. Again, got three great songs to start off the set. Then it go into Fool's Gold from Johnny the Fox.
Nice.
I love that song. From Fool's Gold in the Southbound. Another great kind of mid-pace song, brings it down just a little bit, with Southbound, and then it kicks it back up with Killer Without a Cause. So both of those songs being from Bad Reputation. Here's another song that I don't know if they've done live or not back then. Angel from the Coast.
Good one.
From Jailbreak, which is it's a great song. It's one of those deep tracks that people never talk about on that album. I love that song. And then the song to me that is that solidifies what Robbo and Scott Gorham were doing as a twin guitar thing. Wild One from Fighting. Great shirt, by the way. Yes, sir. The real cover.
That's right. Yep.
The harmony all throughout that song is just amazing. That is such a great song. So that brings it down a little bit. And then to my all-time favorite Thin Lizzy song that they did not do live very often, the song Freedom Song from Fighting as well. Again, 2 songs back with the most amazing twin guitar harmonies that band ever did. Phenomenal song. Number 10, so that's 9. So going into 10 is back to Bad Reputation to Opium Trail. Great song. And then now we really do bring it down a little bit. So now we bring it into where Robbo can really be showcased. Everyone loves this song. It's a love song that isn't a sappy love song. Still in Love with You. It's a classic. Even though Gary Moore did it first, that song is owned by Brian Robertson. So Robbo's got to get his ups right there in that one. That's killer. So I bring it down a little bit. So now we've got to bring it back up. So now we go to Massacre from Johnny the Fox. Just another great song. So that's 12. So number 13 is Soldier of Fortune. The first song on Bad Reputation. Another great song that they did do live. They used to open up with that back then. I know they did, at least over here they did. And then 14 is the song Johnny the Fox meets Jimmy the Weed. Another great, cool groove that Phil wrote. Bring it down one more time a little bit to Borderline. I love that song. Number 15, and I mentioned this in another show that if you guys are into Damon Johnson, who still is, is a part of the Lizzy thing, Damon Johnson does a beautiful version of that song acoustically by himself. It's just brilliant. Great version of Borderline. And then probably this could be in a long tie of my second favorite song, Suicide. Suicide is my 16th song. God damn that song. Again, I can remember the first time hearing that one, and I think I would have heard it on Live and Dangerous first. But again, just that shuffle, it immediately makes you think of a Chicago mobster movie or show. Just that whole, the imagery that they created, that tension in the beginning, and just, oh man, it's just so badass. And then for me, that's where the main show ends. So Suicide is the last song of the regular set. They take a little break and then they come back for the encore. They start with Boys Are Back in Town as the encore. So that's my 17. Then bringing that up on high, everyone's going crazy. Everyone loves that song. Again, a song at this point, I don't ever need to hear again, but it is a brilliant song. And I love watching TV and seeing it pop up as a commercial that they're using it. I'm glad that somebody in Phil's family is getting paid for something like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
People always talk about, it's selling out. When a song's been around for 40 something years, and especially in a band that isn't as well known as they should be, I think it's fabulous that they're using it and being placed, because it's going to make someone say, who is that? So I love that.
If it was Metallica or Judas Priest, we might be saying something different, but when it's Thin Lizzy, come on, give it to them.
Absolutely, give it to them. Absolutely. So Boys Are Back in Town is the first song of the encore, so that's number 17. 18, Dancing in the Moonlight. Again, up on a high, bring it down to a cool little shuffle kind of thing. And then they end Fast and Furious, two of my favorite songs of all time for Lizzy. Number 19 is Warriors. That's just a badass song. And the song that they should have always closed with, but they didn't. They should have always closed with Emerald, because what can you play after you play that? That's just the way Jailbreak ends. It just ends with them holding that note and it just kind of fades out. That's the way Lizzy should have gone out at the end of it, especially in this time. But that's you got a 20-song set list. You probably would have paid $7 for the ticket in 1977, and you would have got your money's worth. You would have got 20 songs from Lizzy in 1977, paid $7 for a ticket. You probably would have paid $8 for a shirt. So perfect. I would have been 10 years old, but I also would have been really, really happy if I could have seen that set, man. So that's my set list right there.
I would pay $50 for that set. I would pay $100 for that. Never
That
mind
would be-
$7-8, you know, right? Jeez.
And they have the, not the original, but I always say the original four, that classic lineup with Brian Robertson. Oh my God, that would have been outstanding. So I'm looking forward.
Yeah, I would totally pay to see that. And it's funny, you and I were not very far off here on this.
Oh, good.
Not far off at all. So again, I utilize my time machine to go back to the classic era. I kind of came up with like an interesting scenario. So first I started thinking about, well, where would I like to see them? And I wanted to pick a venue that I've never been to that has a lot of history that I haven't already chosen in this whole series. So I said, you know what? I've always wanted to see a concert at the old Winterland Ballroom in San Francisco. And I'm thinking, all right. So I went back to look because that place was not around forever, right? So they closed the final night of the Winterland when they closed it officially was December 31st, 1978. So I said, you know what? I think it'd be really cool to have Thin Lizzy host closing night at Winterland Ballroom, right? New Year's Eve. Why not, right? Yeah. So that's what we're going to do. So it's going to be closing night at the Winterland Ballroom, December 31st, 1978. If you think about Thin Lizzy history a little bit, right? So in 1978, all of a sudden we're kind of winding down the Brian Robertson era, getting ready for the Gary Moore era. So here in this dream scenario, everybody's kind of playing along here and getting along to an extent. So what they've decided to do is they've announced this as the final tour with Robbo. All right. But all right, everybody who's watching, you've seen a couple little breaks here in the video. That's because people keep calling me on my phone, and there are people I know that they're having issues with one thing or another. So I apologize for the constant pauses here. I'm going to try and recap what I just was talking about. So yeah, so Winterland Ballroom. Closing night, December 31st, 1978, the final tour with Brian Robertson. So they've decided he's going to leave the band, but they wanted to finish the final tour, but we got some surprises. So let me get to my set here. So again, for most of the show, it's going to be Phil, Brian, Scott, and the other Brian. So you got two Brian Downey, Brian Robertson, Scott Gore, and Phil lineup. So we're going to start it all off with Jailbreak, of course. All right. From there, we're going to go into Don't Believe a Word. We're going to keep the first part of the set pretty upbeat, just like Butch's. Then we're going to launch into the title track of that previous album, Bad Reputation. All right. From there, we're going to go to Opium Trail. After that, we're going to go, how about a little It's Only Money?
Oh,
going to get a little funky, right?
Yeah. All right.
From there, we're going to go Warriors. All right. We're going to keep it cranking. From there, a little cowboy song.
Okay.
Next up, Waiting for an Alibi.
Ooh, was written early.
And guess who comes out? Gary Moore.
That's it.
All right. So this part of the set, they what they say is we're going to play a couple songs that we've written for our forthcoming album, and we're going to bring out the guy who's going to step in for Brian, and in comes Gary Moore. Okay. Everybody knows Gary because Gary was in the band before, right? Previously. So here they're going to play that. Then they're going to play Black Rose. And meanwhile, Robbo's going to stay out there during all this, right? Gary's going to say, thanks for everything. We'll see you all real soon. So he's going to go back. Then they're going to launch it to Johnny the Fox meets Jimmy the Weed. All right. From there, we're going to go to Massacre. From there, we're going to go to Still in Love with You. And Gary's going to do the right thing. He's going to let Robbo play the solo on that one. Okay. Next, we're going to go to Killer Without a Cause. From there, we're going to go to a little Fighting My Way Back.
Nice.
And then the big surprise of this set, because I love this song, and I don't know if they ever played this live. I don't even know. We're going to slow things down to a kind of like a doomy crawl for a little dun dun dun, dun dun dun, dun dun dun. Little Spirit Slips Away.
Yeah.
I would love to hear that live, right? So there we're kind of settling into like a little doomy dirge, so to speak. And then we're going to bring it right back up with a little Rosalie. All right. From there, we're going to go to Sha La 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 La.
That's one I forgot. Yep. Yep. Brian. Yep.
Got to have that, right?
Yep.
Then we're
Yep.
going to end the final part of the set with a little suicide.
Mhm.
And then kind of like what Butch did, my encore is going to be a little shorter, but we're going to come back with the boys are back in town. I don't need to ever hear it again, but you know what? If I'm going to hear it, I want to hear that band play it.
Right.
All right.
Yep.
And then for the encore, Gary's going to come back out and they're all going to launch into Emerald. And then good night, Winterland. Goodbye, Robbo. Goodbye, Winterland. Hello, Gary. Black Rose is coming next year. See you all then.
Yeah, I would fly out there for that one.
Why not? Well, one time to go to Winterland Ballroom, I would go to that one.
Yes, that's like you said, we're pretty, we check off a lot of the same boxes and then just kind of change some stuff. So definitely on the same page. That's a great list. That's a great list.
You know, I toyed about originally doing, my original thought process here was I was going to do a final kind of like show with the Sykes era of the band and then bring everybody in, kind of like the live album they put out.
Yeah.
But then I was thinking, well, you know, Phil really wasn't in his best shape at that point in time. And that's kind of already been done. So I figured, let me go do something a little bit different. So I kind of created this kind of, you know, weird dream scenario here, but I think it kind of works. And I apologize for my dogs barking downstairs. It's one of those days here, guys.
Hey, it's Saturday.
Saturday. So yeah, I need to like not schedule any of these for Saturday anymore. That's just what it comes down to. I won't get into why, but anyway, there you have it. Any final thoughts, words on Thin Lizzy before we let you go, Butch?
No, you know what? I wish to God that I could have seen them. That's, you know, I've seen, I guess almost, well, not all of it. I've seen a bunch of the versions since they, you know, got back together and did the tribute thing. So I saw the Sykes one a couple of times, or a few times actually. Saw with Vivian Campbell, which was really cool. Seen it with David Johnson. I just wish I could have seen the real Phil. I could have seen them in you know, anytime back then. Just to have seen Phil. I would. I don't care what tour it was, but hey, it is what it is. And I just, you know, that's why the programs mean a lot to me. Any kind of little bit of anything I can get a hold of to have tangible from those times, just it means a lot. So I just wish I could have seen them. That's it.
Yeah, same here. You know, by the time I started getting into them, they were already kind of late in the game.
Yeah.
And then, you know, they were done. And then, you know, yeah, I got to see them with the Sykes fronted one, and then, you know, with Ricky, but you know, not quite the same. As fun as those were, it was not quite the same. So that's why the time machine is coming in handy for today.
Yes, sir. I like it.
So there you have it, everybody. In the comments below, put your dream set list for Thin Lizzy. Remember, you're in the driver's seat. Any era, any batch of songs, any venue, any year, whatever the hell you want, any lineup, put it together and have some fun with it. I want to thank Butch for joining me here on this one of the final episodes of Dream Set List as we wind down the month of March. Got a couple more coming, so stay tuned for those. Butch is coming back because we're going to do part 2 of our favorite guitar riffs episode. So that's coming up. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, I know, another torturous one. I know. Why do we do this to each other? I don't know. But
I'm telling you.
So that's coming up. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. For Butch Jones, I am Pete Pardo. See you real soon. Don't touch that dial. Take care.